sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, go to shrmedia.com, or you can go to reaver.com. Dang it, reaver.one, and click on the SHR TV button. Another quick way you can go is go to YouTube. Search for SHR Media, and while you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe to keep up with all the shows that are going on. All right, let's see how the computer's doing today. Let's see if it's doing fine. So I'm going to see if I can bring up Facebook, well, Facebook Live, and broadcast that at the same time. Let's see how it does. Drum roll, please. I can tell you right now, there's already issues. All right, let's see. The YouTube's looking good. Yeah, we're doing a little experimenting. It's Friday night. It's a little calm. Nothing much going on. Well, there's stuff going on, but we'll get all to that in a moment. I lost my mouse. Could have been worse. I could have lost my head. Or my mind. Let's see what's... All right, come on. Roll the dice. Roll the dice. Let's see how it goes. Make sure the volume's down, so if the volume comes on, you don't get a double echo effect here. I got too many computers. Too many dang computers going on. All right, let's see how it's doing. So far, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I seem to have 2 good feeds going. That's a good thing. We're going to see how it goes. Probably going to order a quad core. I found one that will fit into the motherboard I have. And it will be an upgrade. Will be an upgrade to what I have. So, we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Now, this I wanted to get out there because Nancy Pelosi, first of all, again, my question is if all these memorials are such an issue, such a problem, why hasn't the Democrats done something prior? Why did they do something when they had majority? They had super majority. I think it's in 2009. They had super majority. They could have done away with the statues. They could have did this little hissy fit and had more control over it. And as I pointed out, we got a bunch of Democrats complaining about statues and monuments of Democrats, Confederate Democrats. You know, remember, Confederates were the Democrats, put up by fellow Democrats. So that's what's really funny. A bunch of Democrats decided, we're going to honor some historical figures of Democrats from the Confederate Army. And now that same party is complaining about the statutes they put up. And what's even more funny is you have House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi has ramped up calls to remove reprehensible Confederate statues from the halls of Congress. But left unsaid in her public denouncing is that her father helped dedicate such a statue decades ago while mayor of Baltimore. Somebody seems to have forgotten a little bit about her own history. It was May the 2nd, 1948, when, according to a Baltimore Sun article from that day, 3,000 looked on as then Governor William Preston Lane Jr. and Pelosi's father, the late Thomas D'Alessandro Jr., spoke at the dedication of a monument to honor Confederate General Robert E. Lee and Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Surprised yet? I'm not. The article said Lane delivered a speech and Mayor D'Alessandro accepted the memorial. Today, with our nation beset by subversive groups and propaganda which seeks to destroy our national unity, we can look for inspiration to the lives of Lee and Jackson to remind us to be resolute and determined in preserving our sacred institution. D'Alessandro, I think I'm saying that name right. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm muchos sorrioso. We must remain steadfast in our determination to preserve freedom, not only for ourselves, but for those other liberty-loving nations who are striving to preserve their national unity as a free nation. He added, in these days of uncertainty and turmoil, America must emulate Jackson's example and stand like a stone wall against aggression and any form that would seek to destroy the liberty of the world. With President Trump cautioning that the drive to purge Confederate statues could represent a slippery slope, the White House has flagged Pelosi's family history as she fuels the statue opposition. Counselor Kellyanne Conway tweeted an early article from Red Alert Politics noting Pelosi's father's role. That's rich, she wrote. Last week, more than a half century after Pelosi's father honored Lee Jackson monument, it was removed from its post along with 3 other Confederate statues in Baltimore. According to the Baltimore Sun, the removal came as numerous monuments were removed, vandalized, or otherwise being debated in the wake of the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where a counter-protester was killed. It makes me laugh. It really does. None of these people had problems with these statues. None of them. Until recently. These statues have nothing to do with the current climate that we are in. They are an excuse. They are a diversion. And the majority of Americans don't want nothing to do with it. But yet we have to continually talk about it. Because the Democrat Party doesn't give a rat's ass. The only thing they care about is power and themselves. They don't care about any of us. That's not to say all the Republicans care about us, but I can tell you this, Trump does. I have more faith in that man than any of the current politicians that we have in office. I find it not only embarrassing, but disgusting with what is going on today. I have said that God knows how many times. I can't say it enough. But it's repulsive, disgusting. And I'm looking around because I have on several occasions had people, and there's several different chat rooms. That's the funny thing. There's chat room for SHR Media. There's a chat room for Spreaker. There's a chat room for YouTube. There's a chat room for Facebook Live. So I've known to not notice that before. And it's not that I'm trying to ignore people. It's sometimes I don't notice because, well, I didn't realize there were so many damn chat rooms. All these years of doing it, I didn't realize it. And when I started expanding everything, I didn't realize how many different chat rooms there were. So I'm constantly looking around, like I'm driving, looking at all of the different chat rooms. And it makes me feel paranoid. Like, what's going on? Why am I? Who's looking at me? So, I'm going to get into the discussion because I want some feedback. I would really appreciate some feedback. But we'll get after this article. After this article's done. It goes on to Pelosi's office did not respond to requests for comment on her father's involvement with one of Baltimore's monuments. But Pelosi, Democrat from California, has been outspoken in fueling the backlash towards symbols of Confederacy. Last week, she urged House Speaker Paul Ryan to remove the 10 Confederate statues memorialized on Capitol Hill immediately if Republicans are serious about rejecting white supremacy. I notice now, all of a sudden, they really want to lambaste and point that the Confederates were white supremacists who were Democrats. When asked why Pelosi, after serving as House Speaker for years, never pushed to remove the 10 figures, her office noted that she directed the relocation of Robert E. Lee statue from the statutory hall to the basement of the Capitol, known as the Crypt. As Speaker, we relocated Robert E. Lee out of a place of honor in National Statutory Hall, a place now occupied by the statue of Rosa Parks. Ooh. Oh, my God, she did away with one. Now, here's the feedback I want. And I discussed it partly last night. And I was sitting around a table tonight with my aunt. Tomorrow, her son comes and picks her up. She's moving in with her son, one of her sons, and going to stay with him. And I'm going to miss my aunt. She's always been, 4 houses up from my dad's house, which is 5 minutes from my house. So I'm going to miss having her so close and, the conversations we've had over the last several years. So it was her, my mother, and my father. Now, my dad's been very much, he'd look at me, that's a stupid conspiracy theory. Get your head out of your ass. What are you thinking, son? When something crazy, talk about. So I brought up about that video I saw where the guy is talking about right before Charlottesville. I think it was Oklahoma City. There was the FBI stopped a bombing from happening at a bank. And it was starting to hit the news real big. Then Charlottesville hit. And all of a sudden, it just disappeared off the face of the earth. But there was articles popping up a couple days later where the mother started to accuse the FBI of messing with her son's head. That her son was a classified paranoid schizophrenic on medication, but in the FBI trying to find this right-wing violent group they taught the kid how to make this bomb, pushed the kid to make the bomb. And then it wasn't the kid, that they knew this kid was a schizophrenic. And it made me think. Made me sit back and think all of a sudden. Now we got that incident in Charlottesville where the kid is, or the male driver, supposed to be a schizophrenic, supposed to be on medication. Then you start looking at incidents like Sandy Hook. What is it? Adam Lanza? Hang on. That was the shooting at Sandy Hook. You had, what the hell's the guy's name? I'm trying to look at James Holmes out in Colorado with a movie theater. Now, he's supposed to be, had mental issues and on psychotics. Shooting in Louisiana at a movie theater. Texas. Again, mentally ill people. And I'm starting to think, and I'm talking to my parents, my aunt, about this. I said, just hear me out from it. I said, all of a sudden, all these people are, we're finding out or had a mental illness. And it almost seems like, maybe there's a rogue faction in our government that's pushing, knowing that these people are mentally ill and wanting to push the public in a certain direction, or staging some of the events actually happen. I'm not denying that the events don't happen, that the events actually happen. But it's the government that is getting in these people's head and talking them into doing it. And then I was like, is that too much tinfoil hat thinking? And all of a sudden, my aunt's like, I've actually wondered the same thing. And my mom was like, no, that's a very plausible idea. And I looked at my dad, and I was like, well. And he looked at me and goes, now? Yeah, that's a plausible idea. And I would like some feedback from people on what they think. Is it too far-fetched? Is it a possibility? Our government has really been scary of late. And this is not a Trump thing. This is, a lot of those shootings that we had underneath Obama, every time he had negative press, within a day or two, we had a national tragedy. Something big happened. And it usually linked back to either terrorism or some mentally ill person, a schizophrenic. And just this one case really made me wonder when the mother came out and spoke and said that the FBI was undercover. They had infiltrated this right-wing group, and it just seems to be this kid. I don't know what the age is, but I keep calling him a kid. But it makes me wonder. Is our government staging some of the events to change the way we're thinking, to get us in a certain mindset, to become more complacent to what the government wants? Tell me what you think. Go to Facebook, and you can go to, what is it again? Hang on. At Reaver of Common Sense for Facebook, at Reaver of Common Sense. And underneath today's live show, or just post a comment anywhere and tell me what you think about that. I'm not saying it's true. It just it has me thinking. I am not sure on it. So, with that, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catholic, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. So it's Friday, you know, the weekend's pretty much upon us. Oh, it's... what else for Friday? Oh, North Korea launched some kind of projectile that landed in South China Sea. You know, it's North Korea throwing a temper tantrum. The United States and South Korea are holding their war games. That's the word. Yeah, that's it. So, of course, North Korea is going to throw its little hissy fit. that to be a weird. Huh. It's lagging behind. It is. And that's fine. It can lag, a little bit behind. The video's doing good. Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy the way everything's running so far. Everything looks good. But yeah, North Korea launched some kind of projectile that pretty much went. So, I don't know. George Washington law professor warns Democrats not to impeach Trump. George Washington University Law School professor Jonathan Turley called efforts to impeach Donald Trump over political disagreements dangerous and warned Democrats to stop forcing the issue. I think people need to understand how dangerous this is. Brain fart. Turdley. Jonathan said during an interview on MSNBC's Morning Joe's Friday. That's dangerous because what people are really describing is what you have in Great Britain with no confidence vote. That is, you can remove a prime minister with his government with a simple vote of no confidence. People don't have confidence in this president. That standard was rejected by the framers. Jonathan said the Democrats entrusted former President Barack Obama with unilateral authority and are now being hypocritical in their attempt to remove Trump. The Democrats spent almost 8 years giving almost unilateral authority in creating this sort of uber presidency, and now many of them want to create a type of temporary presidency that they can remove this president for what one article describes as political disagreement, Jonathan said. Jonathan warned that impeaching a president simply because of disagreements with his values is a chaotic proposition. Just imagine that. We're going to now impeach presidents because they don't have the values that we want, that their thoughts are not in line with the thoughts of the majority. If you want a presidency like that, understand this is not going to be the last president, and that standard will be applied to the next one. Maybe there'll be a Democrat president, and the majority doesn't think that that president doesn't have the values that it takes to stay in office. Truly expressed concern over Democrats, citing the impeachment of Andrew Jackson as president. And he said he felt troubled by it. There are bills for impeachment that have been submitted in Congress, and many of them are citing the Andrew Jackson impeachment. But most of us who write in this area view the Jackson impeachment as an abuse. That was a political disagreement. To see the Johnson impeachment being cited by so many is very troubling. Jonathan also added his thoughts on invoking the 25th Amendment, which would require Trump's cabinet and vice president to declare him unfit as well as vote in Congress. That's a lot of votes. In terms of the number you're going to need, 2/3, so the 25th Amendment is not a really good option. People want this lifeline in the Constitution. How can we sort of rid ourselves of this meddlesome precedent? A Constitution is denied not to really allow that because they don't want impulsive by removal. Now, I don't agree with all of his assessments, but I agree on the impeachment part. It's giving also, I can't believe I'm giving this information, I'm always trying to help the Democrats, and I don't know why. Okay, we need to keep Pelosi in power and keep fighting the power. Keep fighting the power. Keep trying to remove monuments. Yeah, that's the way to get people on your side. And then insult them. Insult them nonstop. Tell them how ignorant they are, how racist, how stupid. Yeah, they love it. They love it. It'll make them want to vote for you. I can't believe it. They are giving so much power away. And they're being idiots. Pelosi, this one, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi again, batshit crazy Pelosi, said Wednesday that Democrats have won every fight against Republicans, leaving out the Democrats have lost 4 special House elections to Republicans this year. The Republican Party is in such disarray right now, crisis after crisis. Nevertheless, the Democrat Party does not seem to have been able to capitalize on the problems facing your other party. A reporter, Pam Moore, said during the exclusive interview. And I love this. In disarray and crisis after crisis. That's funny. Pelosi was taken back by Moore's suggestion that Democrats have not capitalized and asked her what she meant before responding to her questions. We have beaten them in appropriations. We won every fight. The president numbers are in the high 30s, which is, for a new president, remarkable to be so low. He is making his own case. The American people see for themselves that he does not share their values, and what he does not. Some who may have voted for him are now rethinking, and others are just digging in their heels. Well, let me just touch on that. Pelosi, you're complaining about numbers. Your numbers are worse than his. Those same numbers come from the same companies that said Hillary Clinton was going to win. Because I've seen a damn lot of goddamn numbers that show them above 50%. As for the American people see for themselves and do not share their values, I think you are being misled on that because most of the people I talk to, in fact, all the people I've talked to, have no problem with Trump. In fact, one Democrat I know has even said, he's the president. Get over it. It's time to move on. Pelosi went on to discuss the efforts of Democrats trying to take back Congress in the 2018 midterm election by touting their new economic message that was rolled out in late July. The only thing they rolled out, and they'll try to, we got this new economical message, and they'll campaign, we got a new economical message that we gave out in late July. We got this new message. What is it? The Papa John slogan. They have no message. They don't have any economic message. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to make things better for the middle class. We're going to create more jobs. Raise the wages up. How? We don't know. We're just coming out with slogans. That's all. And that's all they're doing. Just coming out. Just coming out with slogans. Nothing more, nothing less. And just doing slogans. It makes me want to bang my head sometimes. I know I say it all the time. It just, oh my God. I don't know. I'm confused by these idiots. What do I need? What am I looking for? If anybody comes in and you're on YouTube and I don't answer, I'm off that screen temporarily. Please leave a message and I'll be back with you. Boop. Oh. I don't know. The Democrats, the way they're going, there's... I don't see them taking back anything. Maybe... I don't even know if they can win dog catcher. I really don't. They're not getting it through their heads. They don't. They're just blinded by their hatred. And just don't want to back down. They don't want to, take a deep breath and listen. Back down's the wrong words. They don't even want to listen for a minute. They don't want to relax. Get a little zen. Okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to go forward. They're trying to do what's best for their party and not what's best for the country. And if they do what's best for the country, it will be what's best for the party, and they'll stay in power. But the route they're going is all worrying about themselves. They couldn't give a shit about anything else. And that's the scary part. I don't know. You would think they would try to, look at themselves. No, they just want to spout off gibberish and run their mouths. I don't know. It seems really stupid. On their part, it really does. They have a chance. Crap. Where the hell is it? Sorry, doing a couple things. It's not even English. Shit. Okay. I don't know. You would think they'd be a lot smarter than that. I know I'm stammering and stuttering. I'm trying to think of something in their defense that would make them seem like they know what the hell they're doing, but I can't even do that. They're not being smart here. They're not. Again, they could be heroes and they're nothing but zeros right now. Oh, that's a 3 gigahertz. I don't want that. Besides, I just called to say I love you, but they need to do something because they're going to wind up just being a party of dog catchers or something. Al Gore is not doing any better either. This idiot, well, now this idiot, his new movie, what is it called? Inconvenient Truth or something like that. But meteorologist Roy Spencer has written a book which fact checks Al Gore's latest climate disaster movie, An Inconvenient Sequel. Spoiler alert, Gore's scaremongering facts are all inconvenient, untrue. Spencer, a principal research scientist at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, begins his book, An Inconvenient Deception, kindly by noting that he much prefers the new movie to its 2006 Oscar-winning prequel, An Inconvenient Truth. It was much less of a PowerPoint presentation and more of a human interest story. It follows Gore over the years as he tries to convince fellow politicians, foreign heads of state, and the public that the climate crisis is real. While some have considered Gore's role in the movie to be too self-indulgent, I thought it shows some humanity and someone many people over the years have considered too stiff. But there's the praise. But there the praise ends. When Spencer saw the movie, he was only one of 3 viewers in a 750-seat theater. And one of these people walked out halfway through. His local reaction is borne out by the movie's dismal reception at the box office. No one is going to see Al Gore's terrible new movie, and scientifically speaking at least, they're not really missing much. We're going to go over some of the information. And we're going to, with Al Gore's dubious claims, are going to be rebutted. Greenland is melting. Gore is shown visiting cryospheric expert Conrad Stephan. Surface melting is shown with dramatic aerial video. Rivers of meltwater form and plunge down into huge holes in ice sheets called molens. Real dramatic. Really makes you feel, oh my God, look at that. Look at the melting. Oh my, what are we going to do? It's melting like that in these huge rivers, and we're going to drown. What isn't mentioned is that this happens every summer naturally. And the fact that is a good example of Gore's favorite cheat, show dramatic footage of a natural event, ice melting rapidly, and then leave the viewers to infer that this is another disastrous and unprecedented consequence of man-made climate change. It spares him the risk of telling flat-out lies, which might get fact-checked later. The viewer's imagination does all of Gore's dirty work. Meanwhile, in the real world, remember, Greenland recently recorded its coldest temperature ever measured in July for the northern hemisphere. Flooding in Miami. Gore wants you to believe that this is caused by climate change. After all, in his previous movie, he predicted sea level rise of 20 feet. We'll get back to that on the other half of this break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Oh, I don't know. This whole shit is almost a joke. So, flooding in Miami, Gore wants you to believe, as I said, that it's caused by climate change. And in this movie, he predicted a sea rise of 20 feet. Sadly, in the real world, sea level has continued to rise at the same rate as for the last 150 years, about an inch per decade. Miami has always been beset by tidal flooding, so-called king tides. But the other big problem is that its land has been sinking at a rate of around an inch per decade, 3 millimeters a year. Neither this nor the sea level rise has anything to do with climate change. The Earth is ever changing. The Earth's getting bigger. The crust is getting bigger. Some areas are going to sink. Some are going to raise. Water levels are going to change. I learned that at a very young age in school. I guess Al Gore didn't pay attention. Storm damage. Gore claims storms are getting more powerful. Not true. Roger Pawelke Jr. has done a lot of research in this area. As populations increase, there are simply more things to break when a storm comes through. There have been no observed long-term increases in storm intensity from a meteorological point of view over the period of interest. That is, since the Industrial Revolution began, and even if there was an increase, there would be no way to attribute those changes to human activities. Now, you also have to take into account when you talk about increased damages, you have different structures up that change the way winds and all that. In New York City especially, we'll take New York City and its example. In between the skyscrapers, because the design of all those skyscrapers, the way the buildings are, a gust of wind can come through there. And it will pick up speed because it gets trapped in between those buildings. And it starts funneling all that air together. And you can get high-speed winds coming through New York City with a small little gust starting it. But let's not talk about that. Flooding of the 9/11 memorial from Hurricane Sandy. Gore claims he predicted this in an inconvenient truth. No, he didn't. He only mentioned general sea levels rise from melting of Greenland ice sheet, not large surge from exceptional storms like Sandy, which have always been a risk for coastal residents. This is a clear case where Gore is deceiving you. Hell, I remember one year as a firefighter. It was very early in my career as an EMT. I had actually just left the building. Went home to get like a 4-hour nap. When I woke up, most all the crews were gone. They had gone down the shore because There was a hurricane off the coast, and it caused massive flooding. So much flooding that, okay, they had to start getting boats to get people out of certain areas. And I remember the one guy I was working with, or volunteering with, I should say, and he had said that he watched a house burn down. I mean, he was given a pump and a hose and told him, the guy, you see a house on fire, start pumping the water and put it out. And he said the house got so bad, they just looked at each other like, you ready to go get lunch? They're like, yeah, this ain't going to do nothing. And this $1 million house burned down to the ground because they couldn't get fire trucks into the area because there was so much flooding. Why? Because it's the shore. When you have a house on the shore and storms come in, you get flooded. So much and so, the fact that the rate of sea level rise has not increased in New York City. Sea level at Battery Park, at the southern tip of Manhattan, has been monitored since 1850. That is 1,850. 1850. So over 100 years. 160 years, roughly. And has been rising naturally since that time at an average rate of 1.1 inch per decade with no sign of acceleration. Earthrise, the big blue marble. Gore repeatedly invokes this famous image of the Earth from space. One of the most viewed photos in the world, taken by Apollo astronaut and geologist Harrison Schmitt on the Apollo 17 mission to the moon on December 7th, 1972. Now, here's the irony. Jack Schmitt, Harrison Schmitt, he was known as Jack Schmitt, who I know, and is from the author of the article, and have worked with, is, like me, a skeptic of the supposed danger of CO2 emissions and the claim that climate change is entirely human-caused. It has been active, or he has been in the fight to correct the record on climate change and the supposed danger of carbon dioxide. Solar power, Solar City, and Elon Musk. Renewable salesman Gore is big on the idea that solar will save the world from fossil fuel-induced warming. But there's a fundamental problem with solar and wind. It takes huge fields of solar collectors to collect much electricity from sunlight. Clouds greatly reduce it, and 365 days a year, it goes away at night. Fossil fuels are highly concentrated forms of energy, while solar and wind are relatively weak and diffused. They are also expensive and only appear competitive if you ignore the vast taxpayer subsidy propping them up. And if you notice, the ones that are doing away with those tax subsidies are failing. So to claim that solar is in any way cheaper than fossil fuel is simply not true. Maybe someday it will be, but not anytime soon. Without the government forcing citizens to pay more for solar through subsidies, the solar industry would have very little to sell other than for remote specialty applications where electricity is needed and there are no power lines to provide it. The current success of Elon Musk, Tesla, Solar City, and solar energy installation in general is due to government subsidies. These are your tax dollars that the solar industry has convinced governments to give to the solar energy effort. Investors, in turn, also cash in on the subsidies while they last. You ought to see how many of these companies that backed Obama in 2008 for his run for presidency, and right after getting in office, Obama gave government subsidies to these companies. Most of them shortly after went belly up. Most of them are not around. I think there's only like one company that's still around. So they got these $1 million payouts from the government of your hard tax-earned money. Those CEOs ran away with it. So they got paid back for getting Gore in office. The claim by Gore and others that the solar employing vast number of people is not what you want what does it say here? Employing vast numbers of people is not what you want if the product they produce is too expensive or not in demand. For an extreme example of why the number of workers isn't a good measure of economic value, we could put 100% of the labor force to work digging holes in the ground and filling them up again. But what would that do for our prosperity? Okay, makes sense. Verdict. Al Gore's movie is an epic fail. But we could kind of predicted that, couldn't we? And what we have going on now of late, people are getting educated. They're learning about this climate change scam, this climate change cult. And people aren't believing in it like they used to. They're finding out all the bullshit that has been pushed, all the failures of the predictions, and then finding out that they faked those results to get that results and all that, and people no longer believe in it. Do we believe in smart regulations? Yes. Do we believe in putting regulations that would destroy our economy? No. There is a balance that can be achieved. And that's what we need to find. Where maybe years ago it was the porridge was too hot. With Obama, the porridge was too cold. Well, you might want to reverse the two. Yeah, before the porridge was too cold. Yeah, the porridge was too cold because there was next to no regulations. Obama, the porridge was way too hot. There was too many regulations. And we need to find that happy medium. My damn nose itches. No, not cocaine. We need to find that happy medium that covers all of it. Covers just the right regulations to protect the earth, but still be prosperous. It can be done when you have people that know what they're talking about. And just because someone is elected to government does not make them the person that knows what they're doing. Same thing with, and I learned this a long time ago in the firehouses, and I'm talking on the volunteer side, where we have elections to fill spots, like officers' positions. Mostly what it comes down to is popularity contest. Who smiles the best? Who buys the most beer? That's what it comes down to. It's not always who's the best for the job. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. At least I try to. The Jersey Takeover is here and is expanded. I just noticed, damn, I got baggy eyes. Man, it looks like someone punched me right in my eye, doesn't it? Holy shit. The show's expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's one thing I hate about this camera business shit. Man, I don't look that good right now. Damn. Not trying to win a beauty contest, but damn, man. Here, that looks like I'm like Night of the Living Dead. Holy shit. Zombie time. Damn, dude. I need to do something about that. Al Gore. Without him, we would have no internet. Remember that? Yeah, that's why I believe in global warming. Because without Al Gore, we wouldn't have any internet. I still can't believe he fucking said that. That was so stupid of him. So, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has a 19% approval rating, according to a new Harvard-Harris poll, the lowest of any elected U.S. official with a national profile. McConnell's score is worse than President Trump or House Speaker Paul Ryan, according to The Hill. 49% of the voters polled have a negative view of the Senate leader. The Hill, which was given the poll results, reported. On the other hand, President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence have a high approval rating. 79% of Republicans have a positive view of the president, and 41% favorable and 55% unfavorable from the broad survey. Pence polls at 44% positive and 42% negative, the Hill reported. McConnell, who will not have to face re-election until 2020, only has an 18% job approval rating in his home state of Kentucky, according to another poll released this week by left-leaning Public Policy Polling. McConnell is the only Republican elected official polled that is not viewed favorable by a majority of his own party. Only 32% of Republicans respondents view McConnell favorably, while 40% have a negative view of him. All right, that's Republicans. Republicans only have a 32% positive view of Mitch McConnell, where Republicans have a 79% positive view of President Trump. Pretty much he doubles. Oh, more than doubles. More than doubles amongst Republicans. Ryan is underwater, posting a negative 33-47 split, but he is viewed favorable by 63% of Republican respondents nationwide. Still, that's less than Trump. The Hill also reported that Trump's job approval rating is at its lowest point in Harvard-Harris poll, with 43% of respondents approving and 57% disapproving. However, that is better than the GOP as a whole. The Republican Party job approval rating is at 30% positive and 70% negative. However, only 56% of Republicans are happy with what the party has accomplished with its majority in the House and Senate. Mark Penn, a co-director of the poll, said Trump and McConnell seem to be locked in a death spiral. But the Hill then reported that Trump is boosted by the 53% approval rating he wins for his handling of the economy. With 59% of voters say the country as a whole is on the wrong track, most say the economy is on the right track with a 47-35 margin. 66% see the economy as strong. And here's my thing. They say 59 say it's on the wrong track. On the wrong track because of Trump or what's going on with the Democrats and the crap that they're pulling. When they asked if the Trump should get credit for current economical conditions, 45% said yes, 14% said no, and 40% were neutral. On the other side of the aisle, the Democrat has a 42% approval rating, with 48% disapproving, the poll revealed, with 78% of Democrats saying they're happy with their party's performance. The Hill reported the full results of the poll will be released online in the coming days. Now, I do want to see all the stats on these polls. Percentages, all that. It's they get kind of tricky with them. But McConnell's ratings and Ryan's, yeah, wouldn't doubt in a heartbeat. Some of these Democrat ratings, I do have serious questions about. I don't know. It's especially with Antifa and their actions. But then again, CNN and MSNBC do not talk about Antifa. Okay. All right, I got it. I saw a screen. I just saw something really stupid and funny. So, Antifa has a new cell in Philly, and they're calling for property seizures, violence on police, an all-out revolution. This is not anything shocking or anything surprising. They're calling for all-out violence. And to be truthful, Not shocked. This is my shocked face. Hang on, I'll look at something up real quick. See if I have any sound bites for this. Can't remember if I had a sound bite for this one. Nope, I thought I did. Me bad. Who's bad? You bad. Well, I want to get actually an update. See what's going on in Texas right now, because we do have a hurricane. It was a Category 4 that was bearing down. Yeah, it's Category 4, and it's about to make landfall any minute now. What's this? Russian attorney rips anti-Trump dossier as cheap gossip amidst questions over origin. So there was the Russian attorney that met with Trump Jr. last summer and has been trying to distance herself from the firm that gave us the anti-Trump dossier. Well, it seems she did some work for her, and she's trying to distance herself. She has called the dossier a cheap gossip in an email sent in Russian to Fox News. Her translator sent an English version of the original message, which was viewed and verified by Fox News. When I read some parts of this dossier in the media, I laughed. What kind of idiot does one have to take Americans for to think that they can believe that stupid and incompetent and absurd dossier? The same email, in a confusing passage, also seemed to both defend and question the co-founder of the firm behind the document. Last month, CEO of Hermitage Capital, Bill Broder. What the fuck? I'm hearing shit all over the place. What the hell? Before a Senate committee that this attorney orchestrated a smear campaign against him as part of an effort to fight anti-Russian sanctions, working with the firm Fusion GPS and co-founder Glenn Simpson. Fusion was the same company behind the anti-Trump dossier. This detail was swiftly picked up by President Trump and his allies, who point to the alleged Fusion-Russian connection as proof Moscow was actually working against him in 2006, despite collusion claims. Simpson had employed former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele in a project which was crafted as opposition research and requests by unknown political rivals of Trump. The dossier was first made public when BuzzFeed published contents in January. Steele since has been ordered to give a deposition in the multi-million-dollar libel case brought against the media outlet. Simpson and Fusion have refused to say who they are working for on the dossier case, claiming they must keep clients' identities confidential. Simpson met with Senate Judiciary Committee staff for hours on Tuesday behind closed doors as part of their investigation, which I reported yesterday. They're going to take a vote and probably make that material public. Fusion GPS told Fox News the firm is cooperating, turned over more than 40,000 documents to the staff for their review. However, the committee said the firm only turned over public headlines and thousands of blank pages. Fusion's initial production of documents consisted solely of headlines from publicly available news reports and more than 7,500 pages of blank paper, committee spokesman Taylor Foy said after Simpson's interview. Fusion eventually provided a copy of the same unverified dossier that had been publicly available since January, and a private log that raises more questions than it answers. Simpson's attorneys did not respond to previously Fox News inquiries on how the blank pages compiled with the committee's request. It was basically a big middle finger to the committee saying, fuck you. We don't have to comply. The only thing I could say is that what I read on BuzzFeed, that is not something of Glenn's level. It's not his modus operandi. It's not his work, the Russian attorney told Fox News. Cheap gossip and tall tales that is diminishing for an investigator like Mr. Simpson's. Mr. Simpson's attorney, Josh Levy, told Fox News in a statement this week that the firm is proud of the work it has conducted and stands by it. Browder, a champion of the Magnitsky Act, a law passed in 2012 in the wake of Russian whistleblower Sergei Magnitsky's death to impose sanctions on Russia's oligarchy suspected of money laundering, has continued to publicly link Russia to Fusion GPS. In a letter to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Browder also said the dossier was undertaken at the same time the firm was working on the smear campaign against him. The Russian attorney, I'm not even going to try her name, acknowledged the two projects coincided while suggesting she only learned about the dossier later. The Russian attorney's name burst into the headlines after it was revealed she had a June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower with Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and then campaign chairman Paul Manafort. The meeting, first reported in June of this year, fueled the investigation into Russian meddling and potentially collusion with the Trump campaign during the 2016 presidential election, which the Trump team denies. In her email, the Russian attorney acknowledged that Simpson's firm was hired by our lawyers from law firm Baker Hostler and looked into Bauer's background in connection with his allegations against a client in the Magnitsky-related case. The Russian attorney had worked on a U.S.-based case for Cyprus-based real estate holdings company called Previzon, which was caught up in a Justice Department money laundering case. The email renewed numerous allegations against Browder, questioning his motives. Fusion GPS told Fox Wednesday that they did work on the Previzon case, but stressed that Trump dossier was a separate project. This company's got a lot of questions to be answering. There's too many questionable actions here. I know the chances of an actual investigation being done are slim to none. It's becoming more apparent, even underneath Trump, that this government has gotten so out of control that there's two sets of laws, and those that work with the government have one set, and we have another. In the fine definition, in a different case, you have the Senator Mendez. His defense is he's trying to fight these allegations because he's saying he was not working in his capacity as a senator when he helped this company. And senators are walking a fine line. They know what they're doing is illegal, but they're playing this word game, and they make laws to protect themselves. Well, I think we, the people, need to stand up and stop these laws and make sure these assholes have to play on the same level playing field that we do. I mean, we got politicians that are getting away with insider trading. Wow. I mean, even somebody on that statute of Martha Stewart has gone away to prison. And she did less than what Nancy Pelosi has done. Talk about insider trading. There's a lot of that going around. All right, we're going to go back to the Antifa in Philly right after this brief message. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here, and we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday. Oh, let's see. Where are we? I was working on the screen. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Enjoy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Come on. There we go. Now we have it. I was missing one of the icons from the commercial screen on the live stream. And I couldn't place it, and it was bugging the shit out of me, and I finally figured it out. So I'm sitting here adding it in there, so it's there. There we go. So, Antifa. The armed Antifa group is launching a new cell in Philadelphia with support from the alt-left alternative media. The group currently hosts anti-police workshop called Our Enemies in Blue. The group draws inspiration from convicted murderers and calls for violence against the police, theft of goods, and armed insurrection. Now, I want to put something up, too, because I'm going to have to get it and download it. There was a incident I saw, and I don't know if this guy is Antifa, but I will read it. I'm going to post a screenshot onto the live stream in a second here. I got this off of Facebook, and it was a Trenton Police Department from New Jersey, Trenton Police Department. The reviews. I got bored and I started reading. Oh, Trump has now pardoned Sheriff Joe Apiro. Sheriff Joe has been pardoned. Good for him. Good for him. He was screwed over. He got screwed over big time. And I'm just glad about that. And this is what I'm looking for real quick. And I came across something else I had to post. My nephew, Sean, it is his 20th birthday. And he's spending his 20th birthday in boot camp. He took, I think it was a year off after high school. Because he wanted to take some time to himself to make sure that's what he wanted. He's now in the Army. He's in boot camp. He's loving it. I think he's halfway through, and today was his birthday. I'm so proud of that little shit. He since I can remember, wanted to go in the military. Oh, come on. I'm trying to download this, and it's causing me nothing but issues right now. Oh, I ordered the new CPU. It's quad core. It's like a 4.0 gigabyte. So, hopefully that'll be more than enough. All right. Crap. I gotta open that back up again. I gotta see where I downloaded it to. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this guy's Antifa, but it's along that mentality of what's going on. And it's sick because, I mean, this guy, holy shit. I mean, the left says they're about unity and love and women's right and all this other bull crap they always feed us. Well, this kind of just, it shows that the left is full of shit. And I'm still going through, and God, I can't wait till that processor comes in. So what I'm going to do is paste that there, which is really taxing the computer. It has both live streams pretty much frozen, fudge sickles. So, let me go to this screen. Oh, come on. Refresh both computers. Refresh. Come on. You should be back up and doing fine now. And I'm sorry about this delay. It was just something that popped in my head afterwards, and otherwise I would have had this all done in advance. And I'm not blacking the guy's name out. I'm not. I'm tired of this shit. So here we go. Boom. This is the message that he left for a police department. And he goes on to, they must take after that sloppy-looking governor who, like the cops, want to get in your face while they are in uniform with their pussy-ass butt-fuck buddies. Because as a man with no gun, they know in their gut they ain't shit. And I hope my wife comes to me and tells me about a cop harassing her. Then we gonna see. I see the bitches all the time trying to pick up pussies. Nobody but stupid-ass conservative Republican hoes want to fuck them. Bitches only become conservatives after they've been passed around by progressives, and we get tired of fucking their broke-ass nasty pussies. Okay, you are now Governor Christie's girl now. That's why he looks like he busted pimple zits with a dirty pocket knife while eating pizza. And this is what you're going to see with Antifa. Comments like that. And tactics like that. And as they have that workshop, Our Enemy in Blue. Antifa's website, like it's going down, Sub.media and Insurrection News have been promoting the group, which calls itself the Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement, calling on their readers to donate to a fundraiser account for the creation of the new cells. They can't even afford to do it themselves, so they got to go to funding to everybody else. The press release the group published in far-left media is filled with hyperbolic claims about how mosquitoes are being ruthlessly bombed and how LGBTQs are being battered. The destruction of black life continues unabated as millions languish in the plantation of the modern-day slave system, the group states. Taking pride in the legacy of Philadelphia's rich revolutionary tradition, Ram cites Mumai Abu-Jamal, the Black Panther activist who shot and killed a Philadelphia police officer, Daniel Faulkner, in 1981. Now, this was in cold blood he shot that officer. It also cites Russell Schultz, or Schultz, I don't know, who shot a police officer in the back 5 times in 1970. Now, similar to Antifa, the actions of the Black Panther have been described as having a very undefined purpose of assaulting police officers. Like other Antifa groups, RAM claims to oppose the usual isms and white supremacy, but look at the organized political foundation page, as highlighted by Far Left Watch, notes the incursion of several alarming points, including the abolish of gender and the exploitation in the cooperative economy. Now, the abolition of genders, the same forces that put people in bondage, also utilize gender role as a source of domination. Overcoming imprisonment and liberating humanity from captivity must happen simultaneously with the abolishment of gender constraints. I don't understand this. If you got a penis, you are a male. If you got a vagina, you are female. What is... How is that constraining anybody? Because medically you're a male and you're a female? I love... Someone made the point the other day. You know, you always got these idiots. Oh, the left only goes on scientific information and medical. This is scientific. That, you know, they go on about climate change as science. But... oh, we got to work, to hell with medical knowledge. That's not a male and that's not a female. Just because you have a penis and the chromosomes doesn't make you male. And bullshit. We've gone over this several times on the show, and I'm not going to, go over it again. The latter calls on members to expropriate and take away goods, lands, and tools to begin the revolutionary process. Expropriation is another way of saying seize or steal. The organization modeled itself after the so-called Rojava Revolution, a leftist guerrilla movement currently active in northern Syria. They're using northern Syria tactics. RAM states that the communists offer a foundation for communal and council-based political organization and militant defense. The organization within the Rojava Revolution are currently involved in combat against ISA. Far Left Watch notes that RAM has been hosting a variety of anti-police workshops, including legal training workshops, a class on Introduction to Anarchism, and one called Our Enemy in Blue, which deals with anti-police action or how to handle police officers during violent clashes. Despite active calls for violence against law enforcement and revolution against the government, the liberal media has been surprisingly lenient in its coverage of Antifa, depicting them as the righteous crusaders against the rise of white supremacy. I forget who it is. It was yesterday when Sarge called in. And he said, I think it was his grandmother that watches CNN nonstop, and asked if he knew who Antifa was. And she said no. Why? Because they do not label them with Antifa. Because if the left, if the Democrats really knew who that group was, Antifa, they would know the violence that is being spewed by that group. Now, I know there's a small section of liberals that are anti-police, but a majority of Americans are not anti-police and do not and will not put up with this. I have faith in my fellow American, even my fellow liberals, that they do not follow this movement. It's saddening. It saddens me that we are in this state. We're this bad, people. We are allowing this group. But then, any type of hiccup, any cough coming from the right, the left starts screaming bloody murder. They create, for all the media looking for sensation and ratings, could you imagine if they actually reported the news and reported what's going on from the left? These media stations would be heroes. But instead, they choose to turn their back on America. They choose to turn their backs against the people. And what do we have left? Fox is going the way of the dodo bird. Mainstream media is going the way of the dodo bird altogether. Thank God, I'm not patting myself on the back, but for stations like SHR Media and High Plains Pundit that calls what's actually going on. Then they wonder why the ratings are going down there and the ratings are going up on stations like this. We don't have the top-notch technology. We don't have the top of the research and all that, but we're getting the correct information out there. We're worried about the information over the style, information over the technology. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host. Beard's getting a little wonky. Welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Remember, if you want to watch a live broadcast, it's easy. You can just go to, a couple different places. It's your choice. I know I give too many choices out there, but you can go to Reaver.one and click on the SHR TV button. It seems the SHR TV button on shrmedia.com is not working at this time. You can go to YouTube and click on, search for SHR Media. Then you click on subscribe. If everything's going as good as it is, you can go to Facebook, which is at Reaver of Common Sense. So that's another way. So there's a lot of different ways you can go and watch the show. And I got most all the chat rooms up and running at all times. So that's a good thing. So we're on the last leg of the show. Remember, it's Friday. I want everybody to be safe, have some fun, relax, spend time with the family, and try to regroup and get ready for another week of hell. Let's see. CNN has made no attempt to retract or modify a Wednesday report that calls all supporters of President Donald Trump white supremacists by default. The report stakes its weighty claim about the moral character of a Trump supporter on the word activists, historians, and victims of extremism who argue that ordinary people have empowered white supremacists. It's easy to focus on the angry white man in paramilitary gear who looked like they were mobilized for a race war in the Virginia college town, the report read. But it's the ordinary people. The voters who elected a reality TV star with a record of making racially insensitive comments, the people who move out of the neighborhood when people of color move in, the family members who ignore a relative's anti-Semitism, who give these type of men room to operate. But what's funny is the anti-Semitism, that's coming from the left nonstop anymore. And they have the balls to claim everybody else is it hates Jews. And I hear them all the time making derogatory comments about blacks, women. And it's really the left. I hear it all the time. And it's like, oh my God, people. I guess that goes to the rules for radical. You blame everybody else of it so that it can't come back on you. But the Daily Caller News Foundation received no response after contacting multiple CNN public relation employees, political editors, and a writer who authorized the report to inquire as to whether the network stands by the story. Much of the report rests on the extensive conclusion drawn by Fordham University professor and political activist who wasted no time in issuing a stinging indictment of the character of all Trump supporters. Quote, you have to have millions of people who are willing to be bystanders or push aside evidence of racism, Islamophobe, or sexism. You can't have one without the other. We are a country with a few million passionate white supremacists and tens of millions of white supremacists by default, he told CNN. What proof, what evidence of all this racism? I always hear there's all this proof, but they make these wild exaggerations and can never back it the fuck up. The report neatly categorizes Trump supporters in 4 separate categories based on the degree of their complicity enabling white supremacy. One such category is labeled the down low segregationists who, according to this jackass, Nason? The hell? Mark Nason, I think it is, and others, claim to be against segregation but actively segregate themselves by moving when their neighborhood becomes diverse. They talk about the segregationists, but isn't it the blacks that want white-only classes, white-only dorms, white-only parties? Then there's the yes, but group who acknowledge that racism is a problem, but add a qualifier to the concession to diminish the sincerity of what they just said. The report then suggests moral equivalency between modern critics of the Black Lives Matter movement and the modern identity in the Reverend Martin Luther King letter from Birmingham jail as the central obstacle to desegregation. When a police officer shoots an unarmed black person, even then it's controversial to say racism is a factor. Eric Love, a sociologist at Dixon College, told CNN. We say why don't we talk about these other issues? What about the crime rate? What about police officers need to protect themselves? And suddenly we're not talking about race anymore. Next come those who choose chaos, who voted for Trump primarily for the entertainment value, but not condemned his action, including his response to violence in Charlottesville. This is who he is. This is what he does. Damn right. I'm going to stop right there because damn right. Because both sides were just as fault in that incident. And by you trying to put all the blame on one side, you are justifying the violence. You are justifying those that started the violence. And then you want to sit there and point out the other's bad habit. You're making a clarification and an excuse. So you're no better. But this jackass Mexicans are rapists and criminals. Trump never fucking said that. That is so out of context, it's not even funny. They love to do that. They love to twist what he says. They can never actually pin on what he had to say and take it as a truth. They can't actually take that, what he actually said, because they got to twist it. I'm so sick of this because they don't have anything else, so now they're going to try to accuse us of being racist. Well, come say it to my fucking face. I'm tired of this shit, and I'm getting a little bit tired of it. Try having an actual discussion. Try talking about something real. I'm so sick of this shit. This hateful ideology. The only fucking hate I see is coming from the left. No, we never talk about that. We never talk about the violence coming from the left. We don't talk about the sexism that comes from the left. We don't talk about the racism that comes from the left. No, that's all ignored because you want to try to pin it, some bullshit on everybody else, when the left is the worst in all this. Not all the left, but a majority of them are the worst. They can never come up with an actual accusation with an actual quote. They gotta spin the truth. They can never actually say the truth. I'm so sick of it. You know, in an argument, you call me a racist, I know I'm winning. But after a while, it gets tiresome. Because now that idea that they're pushing is causing violence. Now, they're attacking the people they want voting for them. How fucking dumb are you? How do you think you're going to win an election? By sitting here accusing? What you're doing is Marxist. You're trying to label people to silence them because you don't agree with what they're doing and how they're doing it, so you're going to try throwing false accusations at them to silence them. And that's what CNN promotes. Lies to silence, to shut up Americans. That's all they're trying to do, CNN and MSNBC, pushing lies so that they can push their propaganda onto everybody. They're backing up communists, literal communists. Antifa is not for the democracy. They're for communism. They outright tell you it. And you're sitting there backing them. That's the funny part. And then you sit, we're Americans. No, they're fucking not. You're pushing a socialist, communist agenda. And you're trying to take over through violence. You're trying to overturn an elected official. I'm fed up. But not all the left is like that. You have an associate editor of the Commentary magazine, Noah Rothman, suggested during a Friday panel that former President Barack Obama re-entered the public eye to help save the Democrat Party after leaving it in tatters upon the end of his administration. The Morning Joe panel, which Rothman participated, discussed a New York Times piece that asked why Obama was keeping a low profile at a time when there was a growing need for stable leadership. He has a reputation to rehabilitate. He left the Democrat parties in tatters, and he has to help reestablish that. The magazine editor also rejected the notion that it would be in poor taste for Obama to get involved in public policy and brand Republicans as hypocritical for wanting him to stay out of the fray. The notion that the will of voters would be disrespected in this sense is frankly something that Democrats would reject when Republicans felt the precise same way in 2009 and 2010. They felt like things were going off the rails and somebody had to speak up about it. And did Bush speak up? No, he didn't. He faded off and was done. For all his faults, Bush faded off. That was it. And that's what Obama needs to do. Fade off. Now, Trudeau rose back on his refugees' welcome as Quebec hands over $2.6 million a month in welfare. Quebec has pledged to hand out welfare checks to around 4,000 asylum seekers as Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau backtracks on his open invitation to migrants. According to the Providence Employment Minister, the operation will take a full 3 days and has not ruled out asking the Canadian government to help cover some of the welfare costs. With the minimum basic monthly payment being $623, that equates to nearly $2.6 million in Canadian per month for those 4,000 asylum seekers alone. Employment Minister, whatever the hell his name is, said recipients will have to undergo a revenue test to determine if they are eligible for the full amount, but advised that there are additional funds available depending on the recipient's family status. Quebec has responsibilities in immigration. The employment minister told a news conference. Now they'll be getting welfare. They'll be able to rent an apartment and get out a temporary accommodation, which is a good thing because it is pretty costly. Oh, this is just, I'm sorry, I find it funny. They're getting overloaded, and they were screaming and lecturing us. And now they're crying about it. Well, you said you could do it. Now you can do it, Canada. Trudeau, you open your mouth, and you stuck your illegal immigration right in your mouth. With that, that's going to be pretty much the end of the show. I want everybody to have a great weekend. Be safe. Be back Monday, 9 p.m., Till then, this is, Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense. Good night.
You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.